chase, I'm having 19 outreach meetings this week between Monday and Saturday with doctors, nurses, healthcare providers, journalists, everyday citizens, community, and business leaders. I am also going to have a district-wide telephone town hall meeting this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. And we've been able to identify 200,000 households with phone numbers in our district. Okay. So we're going to do that as a way to try to get broad outreach to as many people as we possibly can, and express where we are in the process, the approach I'm going to take in making a decision, and so that we're going to have that. And then, no, listen, this water is just great. Thanks.
Anybody want coffee?
And then, based on the broad interest in having in-person town hall meetings, I've agreed and we announced in the press release today that we're going to have 3 town hall meetings that will be in the regional meetings in the northern, central, and southern parts of the district. And we don't have the dates and the places yet for the town hall meetings, but as soon as we can tie down dates and places, we will. Yeah, we will announce that as well. So that's, and then before Congress goes back into session after Labor Day, I will have had dozens of meetings, again 19 between Monday and Saturday this week, and so that's my approach to trying to have a dialogue with our constituents.
Okay, great.
So some of these folks are upset because I didn't have the exact time and place of the town hall meetings, and it's because we don't want to set it up in a room this size and have 1,000 people show up. We want to get, find public accommodations large enough to allow as big a crowd as we possibly.
Yeah. Seems like you've got plenty of time between now and you go back to Washington.
Sure. I mean, we've got 3 weeks, and it will be done during this process. And I'd really like to basically address your specific questions. So I won't start out with any broad comments, other than to say that what I have said is, in terms of my approach, is this: I'm not going to commit to vote for or against a healthcare reform bill until I have read every page of the bill, analyzed it carefully, and listened to a broad spectrum of views from my constituents. That would probably make both sides mad. Some people like me to commit to vote yes, and some people like me to commit to vote no. And, if I already committed and had a closed mind, there'd be no reason for me to be listening to people's views. So that's my approach.
Right. Well, basically, just to kind of get to know you, you've met George Jinx, our publishers, Blake over at
I'm
I've met you before, but I realized right when I shook your hand, like, I should introduce myself again because you meet so many people. But
thanks. Good, and thank you all 3 for taking time to come out. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have now. And if at any point we get cut short and we need to follow up, please, we'll find time to follow up by phone.
And I've got some questions, and I'm sure that they'll ask some questions as well.
When we're doing this, the way we're going to lay this out is you've probably seen this before. They made it kind of famous in Time, where they have like a couple of shots of the guy speaking, and then that's the way we're going to do it. Right. So feel free to look at me while I'm taking photos.
Okay.
Okay.
So good.
So that's
all right.
And I'm listening, and he's listening, and we're going to jump in with a few questions. But
that's great.
I've been designated to do the photos at this point. So.
That's great, because I consider journalists to be a vital part of this debate. It's a complex, challenging issue to deal with, and the bill itself is over 1,000 pages, and people need help to try to figure out what's actually in the bill, what's not in the bill, and unfortunately there are a lot of myths being perpetrated out there, such as death panels for seniors, which couldn't be further from the truth. So thank you for your looking at the healthcare issue. So why don't I'll just start and answer any questions you
Let
might
me
have.
ask the only self-serving question that we've got.
Press question.
Okay.
I've got one other, and it just came up this afternoon, but you're familiar with House Resolution 2727, which is the banking, publishing of banking financial statements on a quarterly basis in the media. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not. Of course, there are thousands of bills introduced, and so I usually wait till they are coming out of committee, and if I'm not on that committee. Could you tell me a little bit about it?
It's just forcing the banks, local banks, I'll just read here, to publish quarterly statements of condition for investors, depositors, and community residents to gauge the growth and stability of those banks. And I know there was a big bank in the southeast, went belly up last week. And of course, being a representative of the Press Association, we would appreciate your support of this legislation.
And this would be quarterly statements from all banks?
Yes, published in newspapers.
Okay. Let me look at that, Bill. I had not seen it. This is the first time someone has raised it with me. My general approach is everything given equal, more openness is better. I'd want to be sure that with our community banks, that I think are so critical for our district, that it doesn't put such a burden on them financially that it would take away their focus from running a good bank. But or privately owned banks, would this include privately owned banks as well as
Anybody with
publicly
the
owned?
FDIC insurance.
Anybody with anyone with FDIC? All right, let me look at that, and I'm, you know.
I'll see that you get some more information
Okay.
from the Press Association.
Okay, I would welcome that, thank you. I do, on the larger issue, I think when you have taxpayers that put up so much money to try to stabilize the financial system, taxpayers have a right to get information. In fact, I added into the Financial Services Appropriation Bill the other day that Secretary of Treasury must report by the end of this year the status of the TARP funds with specific projections of how much we will make or lose based on that, and what the payback plans are. We're starting to see some banks pay back the money with interest. In some cases, we've made a pretty healthy profit on the public investment, but I do think, particularly with the massive amounts of money that we put into the TARP program, voters and taxpayers have a right to know where that money went and how much of it is being returned, and will they make money or lose money in that investment.
Now, on the lighter side of that, how do I get some TARP?
You know, you have to be too big to fail. You know, you got to get so big.
I'm pretty good size.
You got to threaten the whole national economy.
Yeah, we want a stimulus program for community newspapers.
Yeah, let me tell you, you know, and I will say to you, aside from the bank issue, one of my concerns about the financial challenges that newspapers are facing, and many television stations as well, is you guys are a critical part of the checks and balances envisioned by our founding fathers. And if you look at the scandals that have been uncovered in Washington over the last decade or two or three, the vast majority of them weren't uncovered by internal investigations. They're uncovered by the free and independent press, and I worry about resources being cut back so much that investigative reporting and the checks and balances could be put at risk. So I do think that's a serious issue. On the banking issue, I think now is not the time to do it, but once we get the economy stabilized, the financial system back in place, we really need to take a second look at whether it makes public policy sense to allow some banks to get so big that they are too big to fail, without jeopardizing the entire nation's economy and the stock market. Maybe if they're too big to fail, maybe they're just too big. We need to consider breaking up some of these monstrosities.